Denied a request for more information around drilling on the Great Australian Bight and claims South Australia will be run by Renewables by 2030, welcomed by lobby groups.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. Equinor's plans to drill for oil in the Great Australian Bight has been put on hold, with the independent regulator calling for more information on environmental protections. But the Norwegian energy company says it's a standard step in the assessment process. Nathan Regter has the story.
It's another pushback for the Norwegian energy company and its plans to drill for oil in the Great Australian Bight. The independent regulator announcing yesterday afternoon it had found several gaps in the company's $200 million plan. The 1,500-page environmental plan was submitted to the regulator last month. In a statement, Equinor says the request for more information was a standard step in the assessment process and that the company would submit the additional information within the 60-day timeframe. The Australia Institute welcoming NOPSEMA's decision to knock back Equinor's plans to drill for oil.
Considering the extraordinary environmental and economic risk of Equinor's plan to drill in the Bight, we see this as a sound decision from NOPSEMA.
According to the Institute, more than 60% of people across the nation are opposed to drilling in the Bight. In South Australia, that percentage is even higher.
There are 9,000 people, more than 9,000 actually, in South Australia who work in coastal tourism, aquaculture and fisheries. If there was a major spill in the Bight, all of those jobs, we're talking thousands of people's livelihoods here, would be put at risk.
Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young taking to Facebook, calling on South Australian MPs to back her bill to ban drilling in the Great Australian Bight. If a major oil reserve was found, it could produce oil for up to 20 years. Equinor has until late August to resubmit its plans.
6 drivers in the Eyre Peninsula are facing drug driving offences after being pulled over by patrols. 3 separate drivers were stopped in Port Lincoln on Tuesday, all allegedly returning positive readings of illicit substances. Police also alleging 2 male drivers in Whyalla returned a positive reading of methamphetamines. All 6 drivers were issued with a driver direction notice for 24 hours. Broken Hill councillors have voted to support the push for the Menindee Lakes to become a Ramsar-listed site. Broken Hill is part of the Far West Joint Organisation, which has asked all councils involved to support a proposal to make the lakes an internationally recognised wetland. The city's mayor says there's a strong connection between Menindee and the Silver City.
Whether you're a fishing person, whether you're going up there for the environment and the bird life, whether you're going up there for your speedboats, it has a strong connection. We heard that throughout all the debate.
Mayor Turley says it's a lengthy process to receive a Ramsar listing, but hopes it's a small step towards something big. The South Australian Government anticipates the state will produce net 100% renewables by 2030. The Energy Minister is certain the Spencer Gulf will play a big role in the clean energy push.
The forecast for renewables just keeps growing.
By 2030 being net 100% renewable.
The Energy Minister says the state will still rely on gas when needed.
That can enter and leave the market very quickly.
But will produce enough renewables to supply the grid entirely. The ambitious targets a new focus for the government, with stable forms of clean energy like pumped hydro and battery storage, set to shore up wind and solar generation.
A combination of renewables and storage is actually very, very effective at meeting people's energy needs.
Minister Dan Van Holst-Pellekaan says a number of projects slated for the Spencer Gulf and Outback will lead the way.
We have enormous capacity to generate electricity in our part of the world, and those projects deliver jobs.
But the Energy Efficiency Council is concerned lack of action from Canberra could stunt growth.
Problems in the federal government in terms of setting out a clear policy for energy.
Lowering South Australian power bills the biggest task for the government. It says the $1.5 billion interconnector to New South Wales will do just that, set to save customers an average of $67 a year. But it hasn't got the tick of approval from the opposition.
$66 per year saving was going to happen anyway.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Over 250 schools will close their doors on Monday as part of planned industrial action. 670 schools will remain open though, with many running modified programs. It comes as disgruntled teachers and the Education Union prepare to join forces in Adelaide, Whyalla and Port Lincoln to campaign for better working conditions. For more information on the status of your school, visit the Department for Education website. Still to come tonight, a sweet campaign raising money for our sickest children. And the last hurrah for Port Augusta Greyhounds, the community urged to turn out in support. Welcome back. Bakeries around South Australia have been busy today, selling hundreds of baked goods for Red Donut Day. The money going towards SIDS and Kids SA, a bereavement support organisation helping families.
It's Red Donut without the guilt, supporting families just like this one. Kate tragically lost her daughter on a family holiday in the Yorke Peninsula in 2015.
I sadly lost control of my vehicle and we subsequently flipped and hit a tree, and my 2-year-old daughter, Indy Rose, died instantly on impact.
SIDS and Kids SA do what they can to support families just like Kate's who are in need. Bakeries across South Australia selling hundreds of the tasty treats today, raising money for the important cause.
All of our fundraising that we do through our Red Donut Day campaign, which is probably our largest fundraiser for the year, actually goes to support our bereaved services that we provide throughout the South Australian community.
The charity aiming to raise $50,000 from the Red Donut campaign. Bakeries around the region jumping on board in support of the cause.
Normally in the city they partner with Villies, so it's been a really good opportunity for us to come on board in the rural area and help out.
The team at Hargey's Bakery preparing over 200 donuts, with 50% of the profits going towards SIDS and Kids. Kate's family received a counsellor from SIDS and Kids soon after returning to Adelaide. 4 years on and the family still regularly visit the organisation, helping to remember and move on.
The help that our counsellor provided from SIDS and Kids has been immense in that she saved my life. If we were able to save one life from this, then it's well worth that.
If this story has raised any issues, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Works to improve safety and user access at bus stops around Port Pirie has begun this week. Council will be improving accessibility to local bus stops by line marking and installing bus zone signs at selected stops. These changes are expected to improve pedestrian, motorist and bus operator safety by restricting the amount of buses double parking next to cars. Vehicles will no longer be able to park in the designated zones between 6:30 and 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Saturdays. The plan to build a new weir for Wilcannia is heading in the right direction. The New South Wales and federal governments have committed to delivering a $30 million weir replacement in the far west town, aiming to boost water recreation. A start date for construction is not known, but its location 5 kilometres downstream from the current Wilcannia weir has been confirmed. A project plan is expected to be released from Water New South Wales within the next 6 weeks. Whyalla Kart Club members are practising for upcoming regional championships in August. Drivers as young as 12 years old say as well as adrenaline, speed and safety is the key to a good race.
Speeding their way to success. These young drivers are practising to race against the best from across the region. They say the adrenaline is what gets them going.
Just the vibe that it lets out and the speed and the thrill of it.
Well, we've been to a track where we got 116 kilometres an hour down the straight.
Senior members prioritise mentoring the upcoming drivers.
A few people in the club like myself that try and teach the kids racecraft and to go up to a higher level of racing.
And there's strict rules in place to ensure everyone's safety.
There's always a guardian out here with the kids. The kids go on the track with kids, they can't go out with adults.
You just got to make sure that you're trying to stay safe out there, and you're also in the risk of hurting yourself, but it's also good fun if the day goes right.
Club President Dave Camwell encourages the Whyalla community to come and give go-karting a try, with championships being held late August.
Predominantly if you go onto our Facebook page, contact us through Facebook and we'll get back to you.
Barry Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The ADL Hallett wind farm near Burra has opened up a $25,000 community fund. The funding will be allocated to local groups and initiatives within the Goyder Council region. Organisations and community groups can apply for the applications by emailing the Goyder Council. Locals will have until the 22nd of July to get their applications in. Crystalbrook Caravan Park has been rewarded for its high performance with a new $30,000 grant by Port Pirie Regional Council. The park has grown more financially sustainable over the years, operating as an important tourism asset to the region.
Just looked at their figures over this particular time, and they've done such a great job of almost being self-sufficient. So it's a great lot of work.
Payments will now be made for the construction of new cabins and an extended 5-year lease. The Crystalbrook Community Association says it hopes to build an additional 3 cabins in the future. The busiest football grounds in the Mid-North is set to receive an almost $2 million facelift. Clare Council carrying a motion to support the facility upgrade of Clare Oval over the next 2 years.
Breathing life back into Clare Oval. Council committing $1.96 million into its 2019 and 2020 budget to help bring the popular grounds back up to scratch.
To be able to attract national and international sporting events, festivals, and also great opportunities for our wider school community.
The Clare Oval Redevelopment Committee presented councillors their vision of the Oval at a workshop in early June. They hope to attract further funding to help fulfil their $7.7 million vision. New 25-metre light towers plus new club change rooms for women and a new oval surface.
It's a finals time. It's always good to play on a nice screen oval, and currently it probably is not in the best shape.
It is the ability to upgrade our facilities because, as you know, in regional areas it is the hub for social activities and wellbeing.
The new upgrades will help with the ongoing demand on the playing field, which experiences quite a lot of foot traffic.
There's 17-18 weeks of football on it a year, which is the most used oval in the mid-north of South Australia.
The committee chairman also saying the oval upgrade will be a great morale booster for the town.
Retail is becoming is a diminishing thing within the regional areas, and I think without a doubt, as sport is so important for regional communities, this oval and this development.
The remaining $5 million is being sought through different federal and state grants. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Port Augusta Greyhound Club is finalising preparations on the track for its last ever race meet to be held tomorrow. The club forced to call it quits at the end of this year after dwindling nomination numbers. The day will feature bar facilities, a barbecue as well as an on-course bookmaker. Dogs will bustle out of the gates for 8 races, including the coveted Port Augusta Cup. The Greyhound Club is encouraging the community to come along and celebrate 41 years of history. Stay with us. After the break, we hear from the experts with their footy tips, and Britt will have the weekend weather. Hello again. Runners are preparing to tackle the gruelling hills of the Flinders Ranges for this weekend's Pitchy Ritchie Marathon. This year has seen a 25% increase in competitors, with over 200 signing up for a range of races. The 42-kilometre course is also now an internationally certified marathon. Organisers are advising drivers to plan ahead as the road between Corn and Port Augusta will be closed. Let's hear from the experts now with this week's footy tips.
Big weekend of Wyler football coming up. The top 3 teams are playing the bottom 3 teams. First up be North Wyler versus South Wyler. I'd like to see a close game here, but I think North are going to have a big win. Saturday's other game, it's Rapina versus Central Wyler. Probably a similar scenario here. Centrals have got good players right across the ground and they should have a big win. And hopefully the closest game will be on Sunday, West Wyler versus Runa Bay. West won't have it all their own way, but they'll kick away eventually and should have a comfortable win.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips and round 9. We kick things off at Centenary Oval where Waybacks are hosting Lincoln South. Waybacks had a 1-point win last week and hopefully have found some form. Lincoln South haven't had a win since round 1, so I'm going to go with Waybacks on this one, tipping Waybacks by 5 goals. In the next game, we've got Marble Range hosting Boston's at Whangaree Oval. Boston's are probably in better form at the moment. However, Marble Range, I think, are a slightly better side and won't lose at home. I'm tipping Marble Range to win this one, but in a close game, 3 goals. In match of the round, we've got Mallee Park hosting Tasmans. Tasmans are undefeated, but Mallee Park are red hot. In fact, I'm actually going to tip an upset here. I think Tasman are going to have their first loss of the year and Mallee Park to win this one at home by 3 goals.
Broken Hill football this weekend reaches the halfway mark of the 2019 season, and what a year it's been for the West Football Club. Last year they won 1 match. Halfway mark of this year, they're sitting on top of the ladder. They play North at Jubilee Oval. The Bulldogs haven't got within 10 goals of West this year. West will continue that stranglehold. They've got a fabulous midfield, big key forwards. They'll win and win easily. Over the hill, South play Central. It's a big weekend for the Central Footy Club. They haven't won a game all year. South, they've been struggling a little compared to recent years. They've got the best player in the competition in Mark Purcell. Mitch Hennis is on fire. The Magpies won't get within 100 points. South will win and win easily. Then the week after, South and West will play for top spot. That will be the game of the year.
And to help you plan for your weekend, here's Britt with the weather.
Thanks, Louise. It's been a mostly sunny day with strong winds over some parts. Port Augusta reached a top of 23 today. Whyalla and Port Pirie 22, Broken Hill and Adelaide 21, Port Lincoln 20. To the satellite now with a slow-moving high-pressure system still affecting our region, a trough of low pressure coming through this evening. Moving ahead to tomorrow now with westerly winds on the Gulf waters at up to 30 kilometres an hour, and the sun will rise at 7:25 in the morning. We'll see showers and strong winds tomorrow with possible morning thunderstorms. Maximum temperatures back down around the seasonal average. 19 the top for Broken Hill, Port Augusta 16, Whyalla and Port Pirie 15, Port Lincoln, Woodner, Corn, Kadina and Adelaide all 14, Coffin Bay, Clare and Cleve 13. Looking ahead to Sunday now with the rain and wind set to subside. Port Lincoln with a cloudy day expected ahead of a fine start to next week. Cleve and Woodner both looking partly cloudy on Sunday and into Monday and Tuesday as well. Whyalla and Port Augusta both fine from Sunday with maximums in the mid to late teens. Kadina sitting pretty, fine and 15 Sunday through Tuesday. Partly cloudy days ahead for Port Pirie, a top of 14 degrees on Sunday. Clare with maximums in the early teens. And Broken Hill set for some sun with tops of 15 Sunday and Monday. So Louise, I'd recommend that you batten down the hatches tomorrow. It's set to be cold, wet and windy.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Friday evening and for this week. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening and have a great weekend. Good night.